night. Two will enter, but only one will be the winner. Here is your host, Alan Freedom.
And welcome back to Capitol Hill. I, of course, am Alan Freedom, and still not here. We don't know where he is this week. He might be hiding out in an island with a tiny little volleyball with a face on it, learning about life. Wilson! But this week, we have Representative Jim Jordan and Representative Gabriel Gonzales. Thanks for being on the program.
It's great to be here.
It's great to be here, too.
For those that like listening to our program, but haven't yet joined us, you can find us on TedderVision.com to play our free online government simulation game. It's lots of fun. You get to play as a congressman, submit bills and vote on them, maybe even run for the Senate or the presidency one day. It's a really fun game. I'd really invite you to come join us here on TedderVision.com. TedderVision.com. All right. So this week, the topic du jour is immigration. And there's been a lot of action and a lot of ink spilled in Capitol Hill this week on immigration, especially with the Visa Overstay Act. So maybe some opening statements on that. We'll start with Congressman Jordan.
Yes. Well, as you may know, I'm in favor of the Visa Overstay Act. I believe that it should go into effect. It provides safe working environments for all Americans. I believe just on immigration alone that if you come here in this country illegally, that you're taking away jobs. Immigrants are applying for welfare. They are voting in our elections, on which those three issues alone were guaranteed to American citizens and not illegals crossing the border. The Visa Overstay Act, I believe, I hope it passes and will make it to the president's desk. But yeah, those are the three main issues that I stand on. And
all right, thank you very much, Congressman. Now over to Congressman Gonzales for your opening statement.
I just got to start with first, are you kidding me? The congressman is seriously going to stand here and say that there's a huge rash of illegal immigrating in elections, apparently. In fact, we've been over this many years, and the fact is that there isn't evidence for voter fraud, and yet they keep bringing it up every year. I don't know why that is, but there's no such thing. Illegal immigrants are not voting in our elections, and second of all, I don't know many families who work in strawberry fields and stuff like that out in California who are going to be at risk of having their jobs taken. Do you know many white farmers out there working in strawberry fields there, do you, Congressman?
Actually, yes, I do. Here in Ohio, we have many strawberry farmers. And to bring up onto the topic of voting, our Attorney General, Mike DeWine, is handing out voter identification cards to illegal immigrants. So there has been evidence of voter fraud.
Okay, well then, you know what? I bring your to me in front of everybody right here. Why don't you go ahead and show us the proof and then maybe I will back down from my case. But there is no single case in recorded history of illegal immigrants having been a major problem in voting that has caused any change in any election ever.
Well, if we keep on having good paying jobs handed over to illegals and them going on welfare, I believe that shouldn't be happening, and the American taxpayers are paying for it.
Okay, first of all, there may be immigrants who go on to social welfare programs, but they are immigrants who have come to this country legally. Usually, I don't know many illegal immigrants who apply for benefits like food stamps and stuff and get them. If this is a big rash going on across the different countries, then let me know about it. I mean, the different states.
I mean, even here in Ohio, we've had evidence of voter fraud. Just back in November, after many weeks, we actually had to. People bring up the argument that they feel bad for the illegal that got deported. Well, back in November, that's what happened up here in Ohio. They felt bad, except to the fact he had 25 years to file for citizenship. 25 years.
How many cases of voter fraud were there last year in Ohio alone from Latinos voting?
As I am aware, there were 12 reported cases.
What, we're making a federal case out of 12 people? The 12 people aren't enough to swing a county election.
In small counties, it is. In Summit County, Ohio, very rural county, not many people live there. They only have, can't remember the exact population, but 12 votes could actually swing the local election. Running for mayor or city council, 12 votes make that count. And if 12 votes to overturn that election, we're not providing fair and safe elections. The Constitution guaranteed anyone who is a United States citizen is guaranteed the right to vote.
Absolutely, and I agree with that. I am not saying illegals should have the right to vote, and if they have the right to vote, if they don't have the right to vote and they vote, they should go to prison. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm just saying the fact that you're making this huge case out of 12 people in Ohio voting in an election. That I don't even have proof of.
Cases.
Yeah, these are just reported cases. Okay.
All right. I love this discussion, but this is a little bit off topic from the original topic at hand. Let's focus more on immigration itself and less on the voting procedures. Getting back to that, so we obviously see where both of you stands. So what exactly is the solution in both your eyes?
The
Well, to immigration, we have an immigration system that is pretty broken, and I think even both sides could agree on that. So what exactly is your solution? We'll start with Congressman Gonzales.
My solution to fixing illegals voting in elections, I don't think it's a serious cause for a problem at this time. I mean, if at some case it does swing an election, then certainly that election should be contested again. But I have not seen it change the course of one election in my lifetime. So I'm still waiting for that day to come.
No, Congressman, maybe I wasn't clear. We're not talking about elections and swinging elections. We're talking about immigration itself. So our immigration system is broken. What exactly is the solution to that in your eyes?
Oh, well, clearly the solution is not closing borders and breaking up families, but uniting families and providing more access for people to come into this country legally, because that is we are born of the Ezra Pound's creed of give us you're tired, you're weary, and all of that.
So do you mean blanket amnesty?
I do support amnesty, yes.
Okay. Congressman Jordan, rebuttal?
Well, as I believe my solution would be, as it's been said many, many times, we need to increase our security at the border. We need to hire more federal immigration officers and Border Patrol. We also need to, and this has been said many times, we need to end the DACA program that has been going through our country, because it does not, we are funding for illegals to come in this country and stay. That shouldn't be happening. The taxpayers shouldn't be having to pay for that. My other solution would be to, as it's also been said many times, I believe and firmly believe that we should build a wall at the southern border.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Would you at least agree, Congressman Gonzales, that we should have more border security? Or should we just put a U.S. city this way sign?
Well, I definitely think we have enough of a problem with having people on the border as it is, as Texas has their own militant guard out there, and so do other states. We need to be training the people we put on the border already, not adding more people to the border. The second problem I have is that the congressman has already attacked DACA, and I believe that DACA is a great program, and I support it wholeheartedly, and I believe that we need to start negotiations on DACA and how we're going to keep funding for DACA.
Well, where do I begin? Well, we can't have the state National Guard spreading itself too thin just to protect our border. It should be the federal government's job to hire more border security officers to stand at the southern border. And with DACA, I'll put this forth. I will make this a bill. I will put forth the end of DACA, on which it would not cost the taxpayers any more money. And I will also put forth a bill that would hire more immigration officers and ICE agents, because I don't believe that we should be able to have illegals come in this country and then they get to stay because they're covered under the DACA program. I just don't think that should happen.
Okay, so we might have lost one of our guests. No, are you back, Congressman Gonzales? Congressman Gonzales, we may be having some technical difficulties. Mr. Producer.
Oh yes, I heard the beep. I think I'm back.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so Congressman Gonzales, we all we both kind of understand where you are. You stand for mass amnesty of several million people, and he doesn't. So I guess we can agree to disagree on that because there's no way to really talk about uh, the pros or cons of that other than to ask, I guess, a follow-up question and ask you, well, even if we give blanket amnesty, how are we as a nation going to be able to support that many people at once as far as jobs?
I don't support blanket amnesty like saying let everybody cross today. I'm saying we should be allowing for more green cards. We should be allowing for more advantages for people to come into this country who can prove that they want to make a difference with their lives and make a difference for their families.
Okay, so right now there are probably somewhere between 5 to 6 million illegal immigrants in the country as of 2017, January 1st.
Sure.
So, do you support giving amnesty to all 7 million?
I believe there should be a path to citizenship for all of them, although I don't think that they're all going to take that path. I certainly think that people who break our laws should be sent back over the border. I have no problem with that whatsoever. What's that?
Isn't that all of them, though? Because they all broke a law when they entered the country illegally, did they not?
Well, I'm saying that they break other laws. I'm not saying that they crossed the border. I'm not recognizing. I'm saying like if for instance they go out and they rob somebody, they should be deported.
Okay, so if they break a law other than the law they already broke by entering our country illegally, okay.
If you see it that way.
Okay. Congressman Jordan, what exactly do you see as the solution to this? I mean, it certainly would, from a PR perspective, look pretty bad to be rounding up 6 to 7 million people, much less the logistics of that would be near impossible. So how exactly do you see, how would you solve this problem? There are 6 to 7 million people.
I believe that all 6 to 7 million should be deported, and they should come in the right way, as people have been put on wait lists to come into the country. I do agree with Congressman Gonzales on that it should be not as easy, but just a little bit easier, so they're not waiting as long. But I also believe that they should all be deported. They did break a law. They broke our national law to come into this country illegally, and it's the same crime for everyone else. It's for the it's for the common citizen to, if they break a law, they're going to get trialed, and if they're found guilty, then they're put in jail. It should be like everyone else.
Okay, but and actually, I was actually mistaken. It's even more. It's actually 12.5 million. I looked up the statistics. I was way off. It's about 12.5 million illegals. So how would you do that? Just round up 12.5 million people one night with a bunch of trucks, or how?
Look how they did it in back during World War II when I mean, I don't agree with this, but it happened in Hawaii after Pearl Harbor during World War II. As the U.S. first entered, they gathered up all the Japanese and they deported them back to Japan as just for.
Or they put them in internment camps.
We could. it'd be the easiest way if we start the process of deporting these illegals, and over a period of time, it would be the 12.5 would be all deported. I mean, I'm not going to say this is going to happen overnight. I'm saying this could happen over a period of time of them getting deported.
A rebuttal, Congressman?
I just want to know if he wants to put them in internment camps like we did with the Japanese, too, while we wait to deport them.
No, I never said that. I did not say that.
Fair, he did not say that. He said he disagreed with the Japanese internment. Am I correct, Congressman?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Congressman Gonzales.
Okay, all right. Well, I disagree with rounding up families and kicking them out of the country, especially when they're in our schools, they're in our churches, they're everywhere we are. I mean, they're our neighbors, they're our family, they're related to us. We can't just get rid of them.
Even they would have, the Democrats said back in 91, when Bill Clinton gave a State of the Union address, that these people need to be deported, that as they broke our nation's laws. Bill Clinton said this in 1991. Now, the Republicans get criticized for saying this. Just because they are getting deported, we get criticized from it, even though Bill Clinton said it back in 1991.
Well, you know what? People say a lot of things that are very hurtful, and then they take them back later, and because they've seen the error of their ways, and this is one of those cases. You are talking about human beings, and you cannot just say that these human beings have broken the law when they've been living in our country for 20, 30 years, and they've been paying taxes, and they've been doing everything else like a normal citizen should.
Well, see, as you just said, they've been here for 20 years. That's enough time to apply for citizenship, is it not?
Certainly, and some of them have, but some of them also have not, because they fear that some of their loved ones or themselves will be deported.
They had 20 years. These people that are being deported, they say that they've been in the country for 20 years, followed by every law, but technically they're not. They broke a law coming in this country illegally. They had 20 years to file for citizenship.
But what about the ones that have had families here and have citizens that are actually born here who are sons and daughters? You think do you think their parents should be torn apart?
They should be living with a parent. They should be living with a dependable relative that is in this country. If they don't have one, they would be put into a temporary foster home, on which, until the parent applies for citizenship and comes into this country the right way, then they can come back into this country.
And it's just that easy for people to come right back into this country, right? People can just cross the border any day they like, right?
If they have a valid passport, they can cross the border as long as they pass our U.S. customs.
Except for that many of them don't.
Well, maybe
right.
you should get one.
Well, that's part of the problem, though, Congressman Gonzales, is that many people are crossing the border without a passport. We're going to move on to parting shots here. We'll start with Congressman Jordan. Your parting summation of this debate, please.
Well, I would say this, that any any illegal who comes across this border shall be and will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law because they did break our law. It's like just for every citizen who breaks a law. They shall be tried to the fullest extent of the law. It's saying that you're coming into this country illegally, so that means if we're letting them stay, that means we can allow any other person to commit a crime in this country. But I'll swear to this, I will put forth a bill that will end DACA, and I will also put forth a bill that will put more security at our borders and more ICE agents. I believe that if you come into this country illegally, I'm sorry, but you gotta go. Until you come into this country legally, as everyone else has, President Reagan once said, we are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws.
Thank you, Congressman Jordan. Move on to Congressman Gonzales, your parting shot.
Oh, certainly. Well, I think we've definitely had an interesting debate, and I think we have two very different polar opposite views on immigration. But I would like to take my parting shot, not as an attack or anything like that. I would like to, or not promise any kind of legislation that's going to break up families. I want to actually unite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the beer summit that we've all offered Republicans tomorrow, and hope that they will join us for a beer summit, and that they will come out and we can have some spirit of bipartisanship and actually talk about some issues that make sense to the American people. Thank you.
Sounds pretty good. I wish I could be invited to that. I'll bring some beer along. All right. Thanks for both being on the show.
Pleasure's all mine.
Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Capitol Hill is a free online simulation game. It's lots of fun. You get to play as a congressman, submit bills, vote, maybe someday aspire to run for the Senate or for the presidency, maybe be in a president's cabinet, or maybe even be a justice of the Supreme Court. You can find it all on Capitol Hill here at TedderVision.com. There are also other cool features. We have a nice forum section where people can talk about recent events, try and change people's minds on a topic for which you feel strongly. You can find it all here on TedderVision.com. TedderVision.com.